Good morning, HWE 1050. Welcome to Wednesday, June 18th. We are just in week 4 of the class, and we are exploring chapter 6, protein, this week. So our last macro. So we did carbs in chapter 4. We touched on fat in chapter 5. Hopefully you've enjoyed learning a little bit more about those macros. Hopefully you learned something new and different that you didn't already know. And then touching on our last one, so protein. And as I've mentioned before, I love all the macros, and they all have had controversy over the years. Protein has been one that has been in the forefront of everyone's head for the past 10 years as we have gone through diets that focus so significantly on the intake of protein. So let's explore that. Let's see where we're going with our intake. So carbohydrates had an RDA, so a recommended daily allowance. Fat did not, but protein does. So they all have an AMDR and an acceptable macronutrient distribution range. Excuse me, that's a big bunch of words. So carbs was 45 to 65% of our total daily calories. Fat was 20 to 35%. And you'll see this range is big with protein. So our AMDR for protein is 10 to 35% of total calories. So depending on where we are in our life stage or our activity level, there's a big range there that kind of fills in the needs based off of you individually. What we did see, like I said, is that carbs had the RDA of 130 grams per day, that being a minimum to avoid ketosis and to provide that sugar for our brain. There is no RDA for fat. There is an RDA for protein, so that being 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. You will hear that number tossed around a bunch in this chapter. So you can all figure out your protein requirements based off of that RDA, and that's what NutriCalc uses to establish your RDA for protein as well, or the DRI, the recommendations that it gives you. So going off of that, we do see current research that thinks that number is low, that we should be, or maybe certain populations and certain age groups should be eating more than that. Our needs change as we grow, so our protein needs are actually greater when we are in infancy and as we're growing through our youth. And then as we steadily kind of find our place in adulthood, then we get that RDA and it's pretty steady with what our needs are. However, popular media will have you think that we need more protein than that, somewhere between 1.8 and 2 grams per kilogram of body weight. And for certain individuals, that could be true. If we are strength training, if consistently in bodybuilding, those groups of people specifically might need that, but that wouldn't be for the general population. So let's delve into the science behind this and kind of figure out how much protein we really need and what fits our body well without throwing our that balance off. Because if we're focusing too much on protein, oftentimes we don't get those other vital nutrients that we need. So that is something to consider, is maintaining your protein needs, but also getting all those other good things in there that provide us with the micronutrients that are necessary to keep things functioning. There's a little kind of test your knowledge quiz on the announcement page. You can jump in there. You can jump in with the soft chalk lesson and see where we stand with protein. We will talk about plant-based sources, and we will talk about animal-based sources of protein too. So look forward to exploring all of this with you. I hope you have a great week, and please continue to email me with questions if you have any. I did host a Zoom meeting last week. I can do the same again if you guys are having problems. I'm happy to jump on and kind of navigate that with you. So if you have a question or you're still struggling with something, please let me know. Reach out. Okay, have a great week.